Hello and welcome to This Is. You ever look at something and be like, I didn't know that was still around?
Yeah, like you. So today, we're going to be taking a look at tech that is somehow, unbelievably against all the odds, still around. And because Matt is really bad at guessing dates, we're going to be trying to figure out how long these things have actually survived for.
Yahoo Search.
Let's run this back.
They had a great slogan. Yahoo!
Because Yahoo, obviously, tremendously huge company, .com bubble, darling. Yahoo tried to buy Google at one point, and Google said, nah. I think they probably peaked in the, I would say probably like early to mid 2000s, and then I think they kind of just sort of slowly but steadily eroded.
I mean, Yahoo's like sub things are actually quite popping off. Like Yahoo Finance, fantasy football is like their bread and butter.
So we gotta guess how long, specifically Yahoo Search, not Yahoo overall, but Yahoo Search, even though I don't know if there's a distinction, because I think they started with search. It's not just like, oh, what year was it? Then we got to do the math on, wait, how many years ago was 1999? And the answer is too many.
I'm going to say that Yahoo did not start as Yahoo the way we know and think of it. I think this was some sort of other thing.
You mean that there was like a Yahoo before the search engine was built in? That's going to throw our guess off. Okay, well, we'll find out.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
32 years.
Whoa! 31 years.
Dude, that is incredible. So they started as a web directory in 1994, but then they added search engine by 1995. So like almost the same time. They apparently used Google for search back in 2000, and then they went over to their own tech in 2004. They were still like fairly big throughout the 2000s, right? Like I was still using Yahoo until probably like 2007. In 2008, they actually had an offer from Microsoft, and they said, nah, we're worth way more than that. And then they were not. Even after 31 years and just about every bad decision you can make, Yahoo Search still around.
This is a testament. If you're ever feeling down about yourself, guys, just remember that Yahoo still asks to be your search engine in 2026. Thank you to Zocdoc for sponsoring today's video. We all care about our health in theory, but in practice, it can be a lot harder. How many times has this happened to you? You think to yourself, wow, I should make an appointment or find a new doctor because my hand is doing that weird thing again.
Oh, not the weird thing again.
No.
Well, the thing is, life happens. The last thing on your mind between work and everything else is finding a convenient time to sit on hold forever, only to find out their next available appointment is in 3 months from now.
When I first moved out to California and needed to find a new doctor, I waited almost 2 years because the process was so daunting. Who was near me? Who took my insurance? Were those people even taking on new patients? The whole process was an absolute nightmare, so I kept putting it off.
But with Zocdoc, you don't have to feel that dread or put it off any longer. Zocdoc is a free, easy-to-use website that lets you search and compare local and network doctors.
I'd been putting off finding a new dentist forever, but Zocdoc made it easy to find one close by that took my insurance with good ratings, which is pretty important when you're looking for a doctor or a dentist, and was able to get seen within a week.
With more than 150,000 providers and over 200 specialties across all 50 states, plus reviews from real patients, you can be confident in your choice. Plus, you can check actual appointment openings to instantly book a visit. No more phone tag, guesswork, or annoying hold music. You can even sometimes score a same-day appointment.
Taking care of your health doesn't have to be headache-inducing. Head over to Zocdoc.com/thisis to get started and get that appointment out of your way. And again, thank you to Zocdoc for sponsoring this episode.
Dial-up internet. Okay. If you're a fetus, you may not know that the way we all used to get on the World Wide Web, dial-up was, of course, the way that you got on the internet for a very long time, which just used a straight-up phone line. It was literally like a phone call to another computer, and they go, and all the data was encoded. As silly as dial-up seems, I'm not surprised it's not sort of dead yet. First of all, you've got a lot of people who, like, you know, have just been paying for it forever and just don't want to deal with their change or whatever. But also, the infrastructure is probably not that crazy. All you need is a phone line, which companies kind of have to keep up anyway, right? So you have a phone line, you have some like Windows 95 server in the back. There'll always be a few people, you know, until they finally turn off the servers in 2040.
They're not servers.
How do you think dial-up works? There's a computer plugged into Ethernet, and then it goes like it's like a reverse modem.
Yeah, but it's physical.
You really think that there's not just a computer that's actually connected to a fiber line?
There's some dame on the other line just connecting you to Hong Kong. Bro, I hate you right now. 3, 2, 1.
50 years?
50 years.
You cheated.
No, I wrote it before you did.
Okay, you saw me writing 50. 37 years? 1989 is the first time there was commercial dial-up internet. But no one paid for that though, right? Because that was peer-to-peer. This really kind of became more popular in the 90s, but technically there were early free versions of dial-up in the 80s. By the year 2000, 40% of the US population were using dial-up, which by 2013 dropped to 3%. 2017, 0.3%. AOL only killed dial-up in 2025 after a 34-year run where they had apparently still 160,000 users.
That's so many more than I thought they would have.
But there are still other companies that are actually doing this, including NetZero and DSL Extreme, who offer dial-up plans. I think Linus did a video not that long ago trying dial-up in, I think it was 2025 or whatever.
I was looking at moving into the woods. It's dial-up in that.
Or Starlink.
I mean, the woods don't help with Starlink because of the trees.
You should cut all the trees down.
No! The Sega Mega Drive.
Okay. So, Mega Drive, aka the Genesis in the US. Basically, this was the follow-up to the Master System. And while, dear viewers, you might be like, what are you guys talking about? The Mega Drive, that was dead in the 90s. Well, let me tell you what. I believe they're still selling them in Brazil. So, Matt, would you like to tell the story about why Brazilian people still buy? Okay, well, thanks. I'm going to write mine so you can't see, because I don't know if you remember what year this was, and or can do the simple arithmetic to work your way back.
All right.
Okay.
3,
Ready to go.
2, 1.
37 years.
31 years.
You were so far off, brother.
I thought it was 96.
89, boy, let's go! Wait, what, 32 years?
Oh!
Oh, it was discontinued in 2021. Asterisk got us. Ah! Okay. So basically the story here is that the Genesis came out in 1989, and it was released in Brazil in 1990. And basically they shifted to, in the 2000s, still making Mega Drives, but they got rid of the cartridge slot and instead put an SD card with tons of like built-in games, basically because Sega weren't making the hardware anymore. In 2017, they brought out a new Mega Drive. This lasted all the way until 2021.
We need to get one of these.
We should get a Tectoy Mega Drive.
Yeah. If you're from Brazil, send us one. VHS.
Is still around? Wait, Kenzie, hold on, wait.
You can go to your local Blockbuster right now.
This was basically the first time that home movies were practical. Do you think that there are companies right now manufacturing brand new VHS tapes?
I know that like companies are still using these, like schools, stuff like that, are still using VHS players.
I'm just gonna YOLO it. Well, same.
3, 2, 1.
48 years.
43 years.
Oh, okay. 1976 is actually introduced by JVC, and the last holdout making VCRs was a Japanese company called Funai, who stopped it in 2016. But this year, a movie was released directly to VHS, which is This Is How the World Ends. 40 years for the hardware, but 50 years for the tapes. Same thing like cassettes. Remember cassettes were basically dead for a minute, and then they started to come back a little bit more into vogue, and there was like one factory who just never stopped making them, and now like they're the dudes who just like make cassette tapes. It doesn't surprise me that there's like somebody still churning some VHS tapes out, because you know, at a certain point it goes from being like sort of retro to like a collectible and something you want.
That is a point for Austin.
Let's go!
What? I'm a little salty on this one.
MapQuest. Uh-oh. I will say this was a little bit before my time. When I began driving, I was a Google Maps boy because I never used MapQuest. So, Matt, what is MapQuest?
Before everything had GPS in it, you would go and type in your location. It would give you step-by-step directions.
Sorry, the TV.
Oh, no.
All right, we're gonna switch things up a little bit since our thing doesn't want to work. Kinsey, Halloween me.
What? We can't change the set in the middle of the video.
Watch this. Yeah. All right, that's fine. That's totally normal that we did that. This video is a shit show. So MapQuest would give you the like turn-by-turn directions, like whatever, that's what it looked like. You would print this out. MapQuest was crazy because like it wasn't that much easier than just a regular map.
But at least it told you like, oh, get on I-44 and take a left when you hit Topeka and get on I-60 or whatever.
You'd have it like either on the seat or whatever, you're like looking down like, all right, yeah, that's fine. All right, we're gonna turn the TV off again. So MapQuest, I'm pretty sure it started from an almanac. I use GPS for everything, even if it's going to the bathroom. All right, 3, 2, 1.
28 years.
80 years.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I'm pretty sure that this was a book.
It's not the same thing. 30 years ago, let's go.
MapQuest, the company, started off as a spin-off of the 1967 cartography division of D.R. Donnelly & Son.
But it's not the same thing. as we established, it's not MapQuest the company, it's MapQuest the product. Basically, this came out as the first commercial web mapping service in 1996, and they ended up went public in 1999, and then they were acquired by AOL in 2000. This was basically Google Maps before Google Maps existed. However, unfortunately, by the later 2000s, it was very clear that the writing was on the wall for MapQuest, and AOL, who still owned them at the time, just kept throwing more ads at it, a bunch of nonsense. This actually is a real thing that still exists, right, Kenzie?
You can go to MapQuest right now and you can look at it. I did.
Google Maps was, obviously, it was just a better product, right?
Like, it was. And so, like, they never really caught up with it.
Fax machines. This is another one that I feel like is deceptive. If you've ever had to deal with, like, some doctor's office or whatever, like, fax machines still exist. They're still a real thing. You just wrote your answer down immediately that fast? But I don't have an incredibly strong idea for when fax machines were popular. The 70s? But then was the tech good enough in the 70s for an actual real fax machine?
I think American Express had a hand in this.
Oh, do you think like early credit cards, you ran them through a fax machine to get
I'm
approvals?
thinking American Express before they were a credit card company.
Oh, like the express delivery company.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
50 years.
100 years.
What are you, okay, why?
So it's 62 years, but 183 if a telegraph counts.
Clearly the telegraph doesn't count. And also, you're still 83 years off. So the history of fax, the electric printing telegraph was invented in 1843. The modern fax machine happened in 1964. Basically, in 1964, a lab at Xerox hooked up a modified copier to a scanner and a telephone network. It would scan it and send it across the telephone network. It wasn't even the internet at the time. As of right now, it is estimated that 81% of convenience stores in Japan still have fax machines. There's still a lot of cases where you can use it for like hospitals and whatnot because you can't, send medical records over email and all this kind of stuff.
Floppy disks.
Ooh. Okay, so there's 3.5 and the 5 1/4.
I don't remember much from kindergarten.
Was there a floppy disk incident in kindergarten that you need to tell us about?
No, it wasn't an incident, but like, you know how like they'd have like the paper trim along?
Oh yeah, like ABCs or whatever.
ABCs, like a cartoon floppy disk. I remember this so vividly, of just like, I'm a floppy disk because I'm floppy. And I, at the time, did not know about the internals of a floppy disk. I'm like, you are so not floppy. You are so rigid.
3.5 inches were not floppy, but the 5 1/4s were very floppy. Sorry, look.
Listen here.
Stop.
Let me show you how that works. When you have more surface area, the tension is more taut there.
Stop it.
But you get the ups and downs.
Like they were the big floppy. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking because everything sounds bad now.
It's so much worse.
I think a lot of my guesses are kind of centering around the same kind of concept.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
58 years ago.
I said 47 years ago.
Well, you think it's a lot newer, huh? 55 years! Is that a point for Austin? So the first floppy disks were made by IBM in 1971. They were actually 8-inch. Then there were 5 1/4, which happened just a few years later. And then in the mid 80s, people agreed to make the 3.5-inch micro floppy. By the 90s, of course, you had, the proliferation of, software like Windows and Photoshop where you would need, 3, 4, 5, 10 floppy disks, which was ridiculous. Well, the thing is, these are still around right now, though. If you fly a Boeing 747-400, they still actually do update their software via floppies. Apparently, the German Navy just got off of the 8-inch floppy disk. They just got off of those on some ships in 2024.
Because you can't hack a floppy disk.
You can't, but it also fall apart. I remember when I was younger, I'm like, why are people using this old nonsense? But as I get older, I'm like, oh, you know what? Stability and the thing that works is actually just really easy just to not change things.
It's a bell curve, but it's a downward bell curve.
I love a downward bell.
All right, so here we have floppy, and here we have SSD. And right here is micro SD.
What?
I don't want to use micro SD cards.
So you just want to go back to floppies?
I want a floppy disk that has 3 terabytes of data on it. I miss plugging stuff in, and USB is not satisfying. I want something big.
What are you putting a floppy disk in?
I don't care. CRTs
are still a thing? No, they're not.
Making a comeback, too.
What? No, they're not.
Yeah.
You're lying to me. Is it like commercial or something where it's like, In my 747, my gauge cluster still needs a CRT because no one wants to re-engineer. Sorry, not my 747. I don't have one. I don't have one, but I'm saying if you are the owner of a 747.
I'm not getting you one for your birthday. Stop dropping hints.
Okay, so this is the oldest thing so far. I feel pretty confident in that. Even though they're fiendishly complicated and honestly crazy that like the electrical engineering existed back in ye olden days. It's like a cathode ray tube blasting radiation on a screen, and it turns into like images. It's crazy.
Guys, we are way more normal than we should be after watching TV. 3, 2, 1.
90 years.
85 years.
Ooh, look at that. All right. 100 years. Wow. So the first CRT was technically invented in 1897, which was actually basically an oscilloscope. But the first CRT TV was invented in 1926. CRT monitor sales peaked in 2000 at 90 million, and TVs peaked in 2005. And a little bit of fun fact, the 747-400 also uses some CRT instruments.
We're not getting you a 747.
I'm in the market. If someone has one, I will trade you some Pokemon cards for it. I think it's a fair trade. Dot matrix printers.
The Jiffy Lube I go to still uses one.
Does it really? This was surely the first printer, right? Like, surely this was the beginning of printers as we know them. I mean, this has got to be old, but it can't be that old, though. I don't think printers have been around for that long.
Based on how new the technology is, they don't work that well because they're still in their infancy. You know what? I'm going for it. 3, 2, 1.
56 years.
90 years. I'm thinking it's gonna be like some commercial printing.
Oh, like something from the war. 58 years. Oh, the first commercial dot matrix printer was the OKI Wire Dot in 1968. You could do 128 different patterns. They became very popular in the 70s and the 80s because they were incredibly cheap compared to, I don't know, typing something up. And over time, of course, they got bigger and bigger. And basically, it wasn't until the 90s in which point inkjet printers became popular and kind of made these sort of obsolete. But there's still plenty of business applications where they're being used, and you want carbon copies and whatnot. And most importantly, they're very reliable, unlike printers, which still suck somehow after all these years. Pagers. Okay, Matt.
Yeah.
Do you have a pager?
No, I had a two-way.
I know the pagers are still being used in some places like hospitals because, you know, people don't always have their phone. You don't always have like sort of service. This seems like too complicated tech to be that old.
3, 2, 1.
47 years.
200 years.
What? It's not 200 years, dude. Are you
Kinsey,
throwing it away?
is it 200 years?
77 years? Why is there 20? Are you trying to bribe?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The first pager was patented in 1949 and was already being used by a doctor's office by 1950. So the idea was that this would cost $12 a month, which is a lot of money. And apparently there was, quote unquote, initial resistance to the idea of being permanently on call. Ha! Can you imagine being permanently on call? By the 80s, beeper and voice paging was much more widespread, especially among like emergency responders. And by the 90s, it actually became popular enough for the general public because it's cheaper and smaller than cell phones.
I'm gonna read this verbatim. Also, it was also super convenient for use for drug dealing. I think it was... No, I'm not gonna win anyway.
No. So, but 77 years, they're still around. And I think actually it's a really interesting point to bring out the idea of like, you know, the restaurant pagers and whatnot. It's all the same general concept, right? Of just like a local kind of thing. So Kinsey, what's the final score?
No points. But Matt, if you had said 100 years, I would have given you like 3 points.
I was definitely putting in like Morse code along with this.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So final score is?
Matt 2, Austin 7.
What's up, my fellow old heads? If you too are an old head and you know that some of this should probably have been discontinued in the 1980s, make sure to subscribe to the This Is channel and ring-a-ling the ding-a-ling button. You know what's never gonna go out of style? The subscribe button. I hear it's gonna be around for at least another 100 years. Matt, do you have anything to say?
I think I should have had at least 4 points. I'm not making a case that I won.
I'm giving you an extra point for being vibe correct.
You know what? You got a point for being vibe correct.
I was vibe on all of these.
No, you weren't.
I just wasn't correct. Like, follow, subscribe. We'll catch you in the next one.